Hello everyone, and you're welcome back to another exciting session with adapting education. So, as you guys know that in the previous video I have talked about basics. Like what we have done in the previous video is numbers, operations, integers, both positive and negative, using number line. We have got to know about fractions, decimals, about a basic about percentages, and how can we convert fractions to decimals. We also got to know about a few rules, and we got to know about how can we convert percentage to fraction and fractions to decimal, then decimal to percentage. So we got to know about the interdisciplinary connection between all these three. Now today what we are going to do is we are going to see some common questions related to percentages which can come in your exams or all, and which are really important for you to know. Okay, so we're going to see the real life applications. Also today we are going to do the basics of profit and loss. And remember, this video and the previous one which I created is not for any specific grade or class. Anybody can watch it for conceptual clarity. Like we are started from the basics and now we are proceeding on. I'll be posting many videos based on basics of mathematics. Do watch them and please watch this video till the end. Also, if you haven't watched my previous video, please to watch that, as this is a continuation of that. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to recapitulate percentage again. Okay, so I'll just add the text box over here. This percentage. Alright, so I'm just recapitulating what we did in the last class, but just for percentage, as that's what we are going to start with today. Alright, so we got to know that percent over here, you see, this is the first word, per, and then we have the second word which is cent, right? Okay, so over here, cent means 100, and per means every. So I'll just write every. So by percentage we mean every hundreds. Okay. So we calculate percentage in every hundreds, and the symbol through which we demonstrate percentage is this. Okay. So you can see it as something like inverted or tilted division sign. Okay. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to see the interdisciplinary connection between fractions, decimals, and percentage. We're not going to take it so long as we did in the last video also. I'm just going to recapitulate it. So, for example, we take the percentage to be 80%. Okay. So, our percentage over here is 80%. Now, by percent we mean 100. So 100 will be a part of our denominator, right? So denominator is the part of the fraction which is below. Okay. So I'll just show it to you. Just a second. Right. So how do we write 80% as a fraction? That would be upon 100, which is the denominator, and how much percentage is it? 80%. So 80 is going to be our numerator, right? Now, how are we going to write it as decimals? We just wrote it as a fraction, right? Now we are going to convert this fraction into decimals. So we convert it into decimals, and if you remember in the previous video I had also shown you that when multiplying we move forward those number of zeros. Okay, so I'm just highlighting what I'm reading. When multiplying, move forward those number of zeros. So This means that when we are multiplying something, let's say that we are multiplying 100 with 100 with 90. Okay, so you're not going to multiply it something like this. So you write 100 over here, then you write 90 below it, then you put the multiplication symbol, and then you multiply. We're not going to do this way. When you're multiplying it with 10, 100,000, 10,000, like something which ends with zeros, but it's a multiple of 10, right? So what you're going to do is when you're multiplying, you'll add those number of zeros. Okay, so 90 zeros gonna be there, but from 100 also you're gonna take those two zeros, and the answer will equal to 9,000. Okay, so it's gonna be a zero from 90 and these two zeros, 1 and 2, which results in 9,000, and you can go and google it out. It's gonna be the same answer. Okay, and when we're dividing it again, let's see this one, the one which we're solving. Okay, yeah, when we're dividing, we move backward those number of zeros. Okay, so 80 is gonna be as it is. I'm gonna write 80 over here as it is, and we are not gonna mess with it anymore. Sorry. So now what we're gonna do is we are gonna take these two zeros from here, and we're gonna move backward those number of places. So 1 0, 2 0, and over here. So here comes the decimal point. So the answer will be 0.80, right? So the answer will be 0.80. Now, this is what we did in the last class. Now let us see all those questions which might come, right? So the most common questions which can come in your exams, or which are important for you to know related to percentages, are like, for example, if I give you the for example, the first question can be, let's say it's of increased percentage. So let's say the cost of petrol is increased by 17%. So by what percent should the consumption be reduced so that the expenditure is constant? So it means that 17% of the cost is increase of the petrol. Now by what percent should the consumption be reduced for the expenditure to be remaining constant, which is same, not the value is not changing. Also, a few of the question can be that the price of an article is rupees 4,500 last year, okay, and it has decreased by 20% this year. So what is the price now? This can be a question. All right, so some questions like this can come. Now let us move on to profit and loss. Okay, so here we have two terms. The first one is profit. First one is profit, and the second one is loss. Okay, so here I'll write loss. What do we mean by these words? So by profit we mean gain, right? So we mean gain, and by gain we mean something which is adding on to something which is currently with us. Something is adding on means it is something adding on, right? And what do we mean by loss? By loss, we mean that, just a second. Yeah, and by loss, what do we mean? By loss, we mean something is going away, something is going in loss, it's subtracting, right? So let us write it going away, or you can say decreasing. So something is subtracting from something which you have currently, and this is mostly used in the scenario of a market. This is mostly used in markets, right? So for example, if you like bought something, like if you bought a TV for rupees 3,000 and you are planning to sell it again. Okay, so you are a buyer and you bought a TV from the wholesale market. Okay, so now you're gonna sell it further on. Okay, So let's say the TV is of cost rupees 44,000. Okay, so I'm just estimating, I'm taking this cost randomly. It's not something of real. Okay, so rupees 4,000. This is your cost price. Okay, so this is the first term which we used, which is cost price. Sorry, let me just write it again so that it's something clear. So cost price, COST, and price. And cost price is denoted by the terms C and P. So it's CP. Okay, CP. So you bought it for rupees 4,000 and you sold it for rupees 4,100. Okay, so you sold it in this price, right? So this means the price at which you sell things, this is known as the selling price. So we have another term over here which is selling price. So the price at which you buy something is your cost price, and the price at which you sell something is your selling price, and selling price is denoted by SP. Okay, so over here you see the difference. You bought something for 4,000, you sold it for 4,100. This means you're gaining something, right? You're not going in loss at the current moment. This means that there is a profit, right? So this means you've gained something. Something has added on, right? And how much is the profit loss? How do you do that? Is if you have a profit, then you subtract SP, which is your selling price, with your cost price, which is subtracting 4,100 with 4,000, and this, and we get to know that the profit which we have is of rupees 100, right? So this was a scene of profit. Now if we take the same scene, we bought something at rupees 4,000, we sold it at rupees 3,900, right? So in this, has the money increased or decreased? Yes, you got it right. It got decreased. This means it's going away. 100 rupees have gone, right? So at this time we are having a loss and not a profit. And the losses, how do you calculate the loss? You subtract the CP over here from SP, which means subtracting um, 4,000 by 3,900, which is again resulting in 100. So over here we got a profit of 100 rupees, and over here we got a loss of 100 rupees. So I hope you understood profit and